Okay, so I loosened all the screws. There's 3 on each side, which 6, and then the one that's back here on the bottom, that's 7. You're probably better off using a screwdriver by hand, because these screws that are in here can strip easily if you're not careful with a drill. Alright, so once you remove all the screws around the bottom, there's 3 on this side, 3 on this side as I showed you earlier, and one in the back. Then you just lift up and release the machine from the base. I have it leaned up against the wall, and then there might be something attached back there with the electrical stuff, but I should be able to just pull this out. And then I'll take a look. Nope, no electrical stuff hooked up, just this little hose back here. Let's see, where does that go? Just gonna shuffle it out a little more. Plus there's that hose down there, but I don't think that's a problem. Hose. So that little rubber hose simply just gets pulled off of here. So that little rubber hose, you just pull it off of this little thing here, little tab right there. And then now you should be able to pull this all the way away. The drain hose, if you have to disconnect it, will be right there. Just disconnect that. Maybe I'll just do that right now. A pair of pliers would make this easy. You just grab this with pliers, loosen it up, knock the hose off. Got a little bit of a flood, but that's okay. So now I should be able to pull this whole thing straight out. Let's see. There's another wire connected down there.
Are you talking to me or are you
I'm recording. So it looks like you also have to take off this wire. Let's see if I can take it off down here. Alright, so under this cover, you would pull out this plug, the orange one's there on that capacitor, ground, whatever it is, and disconnect everything. Okay, so to more easily take off the wiring harness, you must remove this shield. Especially if you're trying to do things one-handed. When you put this back on, you better not over tighten it, because if you crack it, this shield is protecting all the wires and stuff. And then you can remove this plug just like that. And you can take it off of the shield too if you want. I think I'm going to remove this plug here that goes to the pump, water drainage pump. Get that off and off the clip. Either you pop the whole clip out, which I could do by squeezing this and pushing it through just like that easily. Got that out of the way. There's another clip over here. Works the same way. Give myself a little more room. And try to see if I can put my hand on there. A pair of pliers would make it easy, but I got it. All right, so all that. And I'm gonna take this off too. So it should just pull right off. Alright, so I unclip the wiring harness and I throw it in the back. Let's put this aside. Alright. See that? The whole thing comes out in one piece. And now it's more serviceable. Alright, so you only need to take this wiring harness off the bottom of the washer. You don't need to touch anything up in there. After that, when you get this pulled away from the machine, you simply just take this off and this off the fabric softener thing. And this bolt, as you can see, I already messed with it a little bit. It's very corroded and it's almost falling apart, so I'm going to probably have to replace that too. I had to clean it off with a screwdriver, use a slightly bigger, it's a 13 or a 1/2 inch, either one. But I used the 9/16 first to get it to start. And then now I'm able to get my 1/2 inch on here. And you have to hold the agitator to get it going at the same time, okay? So it's a little corroded, but it's not a very long screw. I'm probably, I might be able to clean that up. I might replace it. Looks like it had a little rubber washer on there. It's corroded a bit. It should lift right out. Yeah, that's gross. So, I guess I'm gonna have to clean this up. And then I'll pull this out. Alright, so just to get a better look, that clear rubber hose that was connected to the tub here is connected right on here. It was just pushed on, and this little piece of tape is all that was used to hold it in place. Now you got to take off, I already took off one of these, but to take this top piece off, in order to remove the whole drum, you have to push down on the top a little bit and pry this out a little and then pop them off all the way around. Then this should come off in one piece. But I did clean it a little tiny bit so far, but you can see that all this crud could be a drainage problem for the washer. So it's probably a good idea to take that out every once in a while and clean it if you're going to maintain your washer and want it to last longer. But anyway, I'm going to take off this top shroud now, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so it was easy to pop these off with just a screwdriver and pressing down and then popping them out to get the top shroud off. Looks like I'm just going to take off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 1/2 inch or 13mm bolts, nuts, whatever you want to call them. And pop those out and lift this whole piece off and then see what we got going from there. It looks like those 5 bolts have a little thread sealer, like silicone or something on them. Probably helps keep it from leaking. Just gonna put those aside in my cup here. And then I'm gonna separate this. I think that's all I have to do to separate this. I'm hoping that's it. I'll let you know. Okay, so once those 5 bolts were taken out of there, all I had to do was shake it back and forth a little bit and it loosened up. Now I'm left with this whole piece here. And it looks like I might have, what is that? Another bolt holding it to this thing, tightening it down. So I'm gonna have to replace all this seal, clean all this up. Once I get it out, I'll spray it down probably with a hose or something, brush it off, see what it looks like. Anyway, I'm gonna take this outside, rinse that off with a hose, brush it down, clean that off too. I guess for now I'm just gonna take off these 2. And I should be able to slide this whole piece up once that's loose. This is some kind of a clamp here. Oh, there's something else there. No, just dirt and grime. It's pretty gross. It's years of washing machine sediment, dirt, grime, gray water, crud. Alright, so you take these 2 bolts. This was sitting on here towards this flat piece, bolt it on. This is very hard to get off because it's got tons of corrosion on it, but you hit it with a hammer a few times, needs a little coercion. I should be able to just pull it up over here to get to the next part. Alright, so after pulling this piece off, you got these seals here. I'll figure out how to get that out real quick. So after you remove the little washer that was here, this right here, you just pull this up, put that to the side, and you just take off, there's 3 bolts that go, one here, one on each side over there. Here they are. One was here, and then you just pull the whole thing straight up and off. See? And don't forget to remove this drain hose. Real simple with a pair of channel locks. Remove the tub from the spindle of the transmission. Looks like you just got 2 Phillips head screws to take off. And then it looks like this whole piece will come out in one shot. Okay, so you don't have to remove these screws. On the other side, you just have to pull this seal out. It's got to pull on it kind of hard. And that is where this was. In there, and you just yank this out. I don't really see the damage on here, why it was leaking, but I'm assuming that it's worn out somewhere between this piece and this top piece that goes on top of it. something in these two pieces must be worn. I don't see any tear or anything. So after you have this piece off, you just take those 3 bolts that were connecting to these pieces out, and then you just yank this up. Then you just pull this piece out of here. I really don't see what caused it to leak, besides maybe that this is just worn out. I'm not even sure. There's also the issue of the noise. I'm gonna assume that that bearing down there is worn out. Or could it be something down there? I'm not sure yet. I'll see what parts I can get for it without replacing this piece, because that would be expensive. It's not worth it to me. I just need the bearings, I believe.